always been a data scientist, and for the last basically 20 years since my PhD in being in the industry. And one thing that again and again came up and comes up in any time where people are trying to derive value, derive products, derive insights out of data, is the need to really collaborate and combine data from multiple sources. Wherever I was in my career, that's what one had to do. If it was when I was doing brain research, it was the ability to combine patients after strokes with fMRI diseases. When I was dealing in computational biology, we were combining gene expression and DNA knockouts. And also when I was at RSA, where I was the chief data scientist there, we were building models to detect financial fraud. And it was really clear and evident. You could take the most sophisticated machine learning model and training and learn it on data from one bank, or you could take really a very basic concept but apply it on data coming from multiple banks. And the quality of the model, the output, is tremendously more significant and better when you combine data from multiple banks in that case, or in general multiple facets, and we as human beings as well. If you, let's say you want to go and buy a house, you obviously look at data from different types of domain, at pricing data, neighborhood data, and so on. So this need to combine data from multiple sources is something that throughout my career came up again and again. But when I served at RSA as the chief data scientist, I also had responsibility on what's called RSA Labs, which is the encryption side there. And then it started to become evident to me that this ability to share and combine data sets is really becoming very challenging because of the different privacy regulations and because of different aspects around protecting your data or protecting your business insights. And that kind of raises this kind of huge conflict, which on one side, data companies, enterprises want to use data and collaborate on data. On the other hand, there's huge challenges around privacy and data protection, and that conflict is what actually Duality comes to solve. Yeah, this is a really interesting story that I really like, because on one hand, when I was really at RSA and kind of understanding that there's this key business need to work and collaborate on data, somewhat in a parallel universe, my amazing co-founders were working on a similar topic. So Professor Shafi Goldwasser, that has a Turing Award in the space of secure computing, with co-founder Professor Vinod Vaikuntanathan out of MIT, and Kurt Roholoff, Professor Kurt Roholoff, that was working on DARPA projects. The three of them were really building technology around this ability to analyze data while it's encrypted. And they thought it was mature to go and found a company, and they joined up with Rina Shainsky, that was a VC at the time, to actually go and found a company that addresses this problem. At that point, Rina, who actually was familiar with the business challenges, knew me from previous lives, and was working with Shafi, Vinod, and Kurt, actually done the connection. And it was quite amazing that I came with this kind of key need. They were working on a very similar solution already, and we joined forces to really create what Duality is today, and that's a product and a platform that helps our customers to really work on data without revealing the data and doing it in a privacy-preserving manner. What's so special about Duality in the space is that Duality combines both the data science side of the house as well as the security, encryption, and privacy-enhancing technology on the other hand. So today there's a growing ecosystem of companies that offer different types of PITs, different types of privacy-enhancing technologies, and some of them around the ability to compute encrypted data like homomorphic encryption, which is our origins, others around, for example, analyzing synthetic data or doing federated learning. But all of these are basically the security or the encryption tools to analyze the data. What's special about Duality is that we marry this with the data science side of the house. So at the end of the day, we don't expect our customers to be experts, not in analytics and not in encryption. We expect them to use our products like they're using any other kind of data science platforms, but we have the privacy embedded inside of them. and combine these rather two complex fields, privacy enhancing technology, homomorphic encryption on one hand, and data science on the other hand, is something really unique about Duality, and we have the best team in the world doing this. I think this is an excellent question. And if I give an analogy to the data science world, so like 10, 15 years ago when companies were starting to build the data strategies around data science, there was a clear understanding that there's some level of maturity that the organization has to go through around what data it has, how do you translate the business challenges to something that the data science activities can help, and actually how do you bring positive ROI projects using data science. So that's a cycle that we used to go through in the data science space. And now, of course, all organizations have a chief data scientist sitting in the boardroom, part of the executive team, and the more data-driven enterprises really know to utilize data in a much more proficient way. If we take the analogy, so privacy-enhancing technologies has to go through a very similar kind of process. The first thing is that companies have to understand or define where is it that they would like to collaborate with other parties. It can be organization, I have data, but I want to consume analytics from a third party, or I want to utilize an infrastructure of a third party, or I have data, I'm, let's say in the healthcare space, I'm a research center that I want to collaborate with another research center, or in the banking space, a fintech with a bank. The first thing is to really identify who are these partners that want to collaborate, and what is the nature of the collaboration. That's a key example, a key need. The next step is really to really go and bring in the tools that do it, and that's where it's a very challenging task today for enterprises, because you have so many different companies that offer different angles of what's called privacy-enhancing technologies. Some offer just anonymization, others offer ability to maybe analyze or create synthetic data to analyze, others offer things like homomorphic encryption. And what the organization really needs is this tool set, this platform that at the end of the day, you can build your products and run your analytics products on top of data without ever exposing it, without the need to become an expert in every specific technology. And the Duality platform is addressed to do exactly that. We don't require our customers to be experts, not in security, not in encryption, not in analytics, just to really take their existing data products and basically utilize them in a privacy-preserving manner using our platform. Companies today are getting better and better on utilizing their data and building better products and more revenue-generating machines out of their current data. I think the next step that should be taken, and I don't see this too much, and in many cases in the data strategy it doesn't exist, is really this need to break down data silos and work on data even beyond the organization. Let me give you an example. So let's say you're a retailer and you're trying to build a co-marketing campaign using the data that you exist. Many companies know to do this very well today and get a very good lift, or their models become very efficient. But what we don't see too much is companies thinking, how could you improve this if you would utilize other data sets that don't even exist? So let's say even in a retailer, let's say you're in a grocery store and you want to look at what the customer is buying, at his medical conditions, maybe at his well-being. If you could have a broader view on the same customer, you obviously could give much more better recommendations and build better marketing or co-marketing campaigns. So when companies today look at their data business, they typically look at what the data they have, and what I believe is the right thing, and what Duality enables them is not only to be limited to their own data, but to bring in data sets all within the organization that they're currently data silos, and that if you have privacy-preserving machine learning capabilities, you can combine these silos, or in many cases even between organizations. So like a grocery working with a healthcare, or an insurance working with a telco, or a telco working with the financials. All these kind of combinations is something that today is not really existing in many cases of the data strategy organizations. forward at Duality, I think there's two main axes we're advancing in. The first one, within our customer base, we started today with our customers in products that require different types of queries or statistics or machine learning capabilities, and we're expanding within the customer engagements to other aspects of the data mining and data science cycle. So we're helping our customers expand the usage of our platform to other use cases within the organization and other parts of the data mining cycle. That's on one hand. So we'll see the platform advance and support more and more analytics use cases in our customer and install base. On the other hand, Duality is going to be expanding and moving into other verticals and other market segments. Today we're very active in the financial and healthcare space, but we're already starting to work with telcos. We just recently announced our partnership with NTT Data, where we're working with insurance companies, and we're expanding also on that segment thing. So in the next 2 to 3 years, we'll see a much broader platform serving more use cases within our customer space. That's just around the corner, and afterwards expansion to other markets.